Alright. Say hi to YouTube, everyone, because I actually am going to make a video about this, because I hate this button. And, yeah. Someone asked, like, when do we use Ford Fierce? Right? Now, honestly, I never use this button. Because anytime I would want to use this button, there is a better alternative in using this than using this button. It really doesn't make any sense. Right? Like, think of any instance in which you could use Ford Fierce. I'm switching it off again because this motherfucker's gonna talk too much. Any instance in which you could use Ford Fierce, there's another button that you could use, probably. Right? This shit is 20 frame startup. It's only +1, and yeah, it's really surprising like how overlooked this button should be, because it's kind of bad. So what do I mean by it's kind of bad, right? So first and foremost, let's just talk about this. It's only +1. I can't even be mad because that would be a legit strategy, right? It's +1, right? But you really don't get anything off of it on block. That's like your best option, right? That's like your best reward. Because this way you like keep your turn, right? But alternatively, stand roundhouse is also +1. And what's the difference between stand roundhouse and Ford Fierce? About 8 frames. Right? So you can kind of use it the same way if you're trying to keep this idea of like plus frames, even though it's really bad because on the off chance that someone tries to press a button against it, right? Let's say block reversal. You don't really get much of a reward on it. Like I would love it if like crouch strong worked here, right? If crouch strong worked here or stand strong. Obviously, if crouch strong doesn't work, stand strong won't work. If people don't know this, crouch strong has more range between the two normals. But yeah, we don't get much. So you have to convert into that 1430, which isn't really much considering that I'm trying to like keep pressuring my opponent. So alternatively, you just might as well just use this. Fierce won't work? No, because it's only +1. And back Fierce has like, I want to argue that back Fierce has one of the worst ranges of a normal in this game, but that's an entirely different discussion for another day. So, if you're gonna use Ford Fierce, you might as well just use Roundhouse, right? They both do the same thing. Now, there's also this question about damage, because in certain instances you can like use Ford Fierce as a punish. Like let's say if the opponent DPs, let's set them to DP right now. Oh, it's on 2 count. That does 2610, right? The thing that you have to note here is that Ford Fierce as a punish counter normal only does 960 damage. That's abysmal. Like it scales really badly, right? Whereas if I did Roundhouse, 1080, and I get a crumple. The crumple's pretty friggin' useful too. So, if you're trying to like punish someone, you're better off using Roundhouse, honestly. If you're like this, it's really weird how to use this button because there's really like no specific use to the button. Oh, so you mean like auto shimmies? Okay, let's talk about auto shimmies, right? So let's say they just whiff a grab. So if they whiff a grab, right? Keep in mind, this button is 20 frames. So you actually have to be like really fast with it. So it took me like 3 tries to get it, right? Whereas I could just do this. if you ever notice when I play this game and I suspect my opponent to like tech, a really common example is let's say this is a common situation where I'll see people tech. So we're gonna have them wake up grab, right? And then yeah, punish counter on first hit. Right? So like, oh, I think they're gonna attack. Cool, I just used that in roundhouse. Because it'll net me more damage overall compared to using forward fierce. Do I think the button should be more plus? Absolutely. This button should be +2. Minimum. +2. I'm actually very surprised the button isn't +2 innately, honestly. But this is the first season. I'm not gonna question it, honestly. Like +2, +3. Like it's 20 friggin' flame. It's like 20 friggin' frames, and like slower buttons in the game that are more plus than this, and still allow their opponent to pressure them. You know what's the crazy thing about this, right? Block reversal, light jab, right? Actually, let's not even have them jab. I'm +1 and I'm not even in friggin' throw range. Brother, what the hell? I don't even get strike throw mix off of this. What? I mean, stand roundhouse I don't either, but like stand roundhouse is it whiffs on crouchers, so it's just like, all right, cool. There's a like a checks and balances system to like balance this out. But this being 20 frames +1 and I'm still not in throw range is fucking weird. Now, I will say this is a bad habit that I have, which I would not encourage other people to emulate. Most people will see me do that, right? That's still not even optimal. $26.90 versus $26.80. I did less damage by using forward fierce. Honestly, the only time, if there's a single application, I do mean a single application in which you should be using forward fierce, it's if you're gonna do drive impact and you drive rush cancel your crouch strong. Because from drive rush cancel crouch strong, you get stand roundhouse. From drive rush cancel crouch medium kick, you only get stand fierce. So you're getting more damage by doing it for crouch strong. So, in other words, if you're not spending a bar, you should be doing this. If you are spending a bar, you should be doing this. Like straight up. That's like literally the only application that I could think of to use forward fierce. That's it. Don't use this button. Like, I would much rather use other options in order to like supplement my offense than forward fierce, because there's literally no. Let me not say there's literally no practicality to it, but it's very limited practicality to it, to the point where it's just like you have other options that do the job better, and by other options I typically mean roundhouse. Because like 9580, 3000. I mean, well, Jesus Christ. 2580 versus 3000. You are taking away damage from yourself by using a slower button. Straight up. A slower, less damaging button. I forgot to say that in its full. That's why I don't really use this button much, when the answer is just to use stand roundhouse. And keep in mind, there are very few things that are like -20 on block off the top of my head. But there are a lot of things in this game that are -12. For example, let me think of a random character off the top of my head that has something that's -12. That's not a DP. Got it. Also, if Mercer actually like makes you block that, please nuke them. They can't follow it up. I promise you, whatever combo you set up with forward fierce will do less. But on block, it's -16, so that means you can't even punish it with forward fierce. I actually forgot to mention, there is another reason that you shouldn't be using forward fierce. The other application that you see you players might use it on is during throw loops. So like, let's say you're just conditioning him to throw, and then you finally go for the strike option, you use forward fierce, right? That's whatever. The problem with that is that because you used forward fierce, you can't whiff a jab anymore before you do the forward fierce. So you're committing to that option like preemptively. So you're kind of giving it away that like, hey, because I'm no longer whiffing a jab, this might be the option where I might actually be striking you, and therefore allowing your opponents to like say, oh wow, he's no longer whiffing a jab, so there might be something up. So let me bust out here. But there's a way to mitigate that. So like, you could use stand medium punch. That's how you like replace forward fierce in that option. Because you could still whiff a jab, and your opponent could be like, oh, he might throw me here, so let me hold up, or let me backdash. But stand strong still works as a sufficient meaty, and you still get to convert optimally because you're still close enough to the corner where you could still even do back fierce. And that normal has horrendous range, so that's another reason why you shouldn't be using forward fierce. Stop using this button, please. Thank you. I can't tell you how much I hate this button. Like I don't think there's an 3 frames slower but +1. I don't think there's much utility for this button. It's actually the button I probably use the least as a Ryu player, which is crazy because I use back roundhouse for only for stun baits. But yeah, it has really limited uses to me. But yeah, that's the end of this video, guys. If you like content like this, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, tell me what you think. But yeah, say bye to YouTube, everyone, because that's the end of this video. But if you're watching this video, don't use this button, I pray, I beg. Just use stand roundhouse. I promise you, whatever you're trying to use forward fierce for, there's another button that does it for you. Just trust me on this one. I will not steer you wrong. Later, guys.